What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is AkeemHaynes. I'm a two-time Olympic bronze medalist, author, motivational speaker, and sports commentator. On my channel, we talk boxing, MMA, track and field, and of course, motivation and encouraging content. If this is something that you enjoy, then I hope that you subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into the video. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith. I'm expecting nothing short of a sold-out crowd in the UK at Manchester Arena. This is going to be an exciting fight, so let's get into it. Let's start with Chris Eubank Jr., 32 wins, 2 losses, 23 wins by way of knockout or stoppage, right? We were supposed to see Eubank in the ring last against Conor Benn, but you know how that whole situation played out, so we got to move past it, and here we are. I think the winner of this one, in my opinion, should fight for a title or have the possibility of fighting for a title. One thing about Chris Eubank, though, man, is he is going to put on a show, right? He is going to help sell the fight. He has that showmanship in his genetics. Obviously, we know some of the things his dad used to do, whether you like it or not. I mean, you got to do what you got to do to help sell the fight in entertaining fashion, and Eubanks does a good job at that. If you wash the gloves off, you can kind of see that as well. I mean, in that interview, he said he needs to be 50% or better to beat Liam Smith. Eubank has grown a lot to me over the years. He's grown a lot since his losses. In 2014, when he faced Billy Joe Saunders, I thought it was the wrong time for me personally, in my opinion, right? I thought Billy Joe had more experience. He was much sharper that night. Eubank did fight well tough for the whole fight, but I think that was Eubank's first fight to 12 rounds, right? So the experience factor definitely goes to Billy Joe Saunders in that fight. And he had been to 12 rounds a few times, and he was able to control his output a little better, especially going into the latter rounds. Going into Eubank's fight against George Groves was an exciting fight. It was high tempo, both men putting on good display of boxing skills and landing heavy shots. I thought it was good tactical strategy from both men. And even though Eubank Jr. lost that fight, I felt like he was respected a little bit more from the British fans, right? He had a cut in his eye in like the 3rd or the 4th round, if I remember correctly, and he kept coming forward, didn't let that be the thing that stopped him from winning the fight. All my British subscribers out there, let me know your thoughts on that one, because I know sometimes the British fans are a little bit critical of Eubank Jr. I would love to know what you genuinely think about him on that side of the world. Definitely let me know in the comment section below. But it doesn't take long to see that Eubank is naturally skilled and athletic, right? He's got quick reflexes, hand speed is good, right? He's got good pop in his shots. I think he's learned a lot since those losses, and you look at him now in the 6-fight win streak that he's been on, mixed with the new trainer. I think he's fighting at a very high level right now. You look at his recent fights, right? And it does not take long to kind of see the mannerisms of whom he looks like and who his trainer is, right? And that's Roy Jones Jr. And I think these two work very well together. I actually think he's done a very good job at adjusting to Roy Jones's style. And I think the style fits him very well, right? He's got the athletic ability and explosiveness and hand speed, and he's able to get away with some of those similar movements that Roy used to do when he was inside the ring. I'm not saying Eubank was as explosive and fluid as Roy Jones was, but I think he's doing a very good job of adapting his style and putting his own athletic ability into it and his own cadence to it as well. Now, in his last fight against Liam Williams, who was also in the ring against Liam Smith, I thought he boxed very well in that fight. I thought he stayed composed, stayed disciplined, because Liam, from the jump, he brought that aggression, right? From the jump, he was trying to set the tone and pick up the pace early, trying to catch him flustered a little bit, right? He came out the gates pressing, but Eubank stuck to his game plan, used his jab, moved around the ring with efficiency, right? He used Liam's aggression to his advantage. Dropped him with a jab in the first round that didn't really look like it hit him that hard, right? But caught him again in the second round and dropped him again. Eubank, to me, looked very sharp that night. He was in and out with the shots. He just looked relaxed and confident, right? I've never boxed in the ring at that high level personally, but I would assume, based on my experience in track and field, when you're hitting certain speeds, right? When you're in certain elements and certain flows, it might come easy to you, right? Like everything seems like it may have slowed down a little bit And to me, in that fight, it just looked like Eubanks was able to do whatever he wanted against Williams, right? He was taunting in that one as well, too. Maybe a little bit too overconfident. He probably could have got the stoppage in that fight, but he looked very precise, very accurate, very quick. He looked really good in that fight, in my opinion. He's operating at a very high level right now, both physically, but also intellectually as well. He was counterpunching with precision in that fight as well. I think Eubanks is tough to beat, in my opinion, when he's operating like this. He's at the height of his career right now, in the prime of his career. And if he can get past Smith, a title shot, I would assume, is within grasp, right? Maybe that Triple G fight. But Beefy isn't going to make it an easy fight by no means. Beefy could steal the show. Let's not get it twisted. He could steal the night and put himself in that position for that next title shot. But let's talk about him. Let's talk about Liam Smith. 32 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. You know, I've always thought Liam was a tough cat, right? He's a proven guy in the ring who's been in there with some tough opposition. He's been in there with Canelo Alvarez, and we know how good Canelo is from 160 to 168. Right? He's been in there with Jaime Munguia, who's known to be a puncher. Also been in there with Magomed Kurbanov, and Kurbanov came on strong in the second half of the fight to beat Liam Smith, but he wasn't tough in that one as well. But Liam is always coming to fight, right? Like, he's not a guy who's ever going to back down to anybody. Once the ring is rung, he's going to come in and he is going to make his presence felt. Liam is a good technical boxer. Nice high guard. He sways side to side. Defensively, uses his jab well, uses movement, level changes, give different looks, feints very well to see what his opponents is going to do. Once Smith feels confident and starts to find in his groove and his flow, oh, he's going to bring the pressure all night, right? But it's not an overly aggressive pressure, right? It's a tactical pressure, right? He knows if he can get in close to you in that mid-range spot, he can work his shots. He can work his spots, right? He can land that mid-range body shots, that uppercut, and that stiff straight hand. I think he fights very well on the inside. He doesn't need a lot of room to work. He just works and waits for the right opening, and he stays close with you. He likes to keep that mid-range where he can find you, work his spots, and fight his fight. Against Anthony Fowler, Fowler seemed to be doing well early in the fight, right? Catching Smith with some very clean, hard shots as he was coming in. But again, Smith just kept the pressure, right? He would look like he was in trouble, but he kept the pressure, kept staying close to him, kept landing his shots. And he found himself in a position where there was an opening in the 5th round, and he caught him flush with a straight right hand. And you could see after that shot, Fowler was slightly less active, and his body language started to slow it down a little bit. And quite frankly, he looked very exhausted leading up to that knockout. I credit that to the pressure and the consistency and the work rate of Liam Smith in that one. Against Jesse Vargas, that was a very good fight. If you like action, that's one you wanted to see. Like, both of those men were fighting, like they came to fight, right? That was an excellent fight from both men. But Liam showed heart, he showed strength, and he stayed patient, and he was consistent with this pressure as we know him to be. And he wasn't afraid to let the hands fly in different shots and just chopped him down round to round. Both guys took big shots, but Beefy just kept working. Just kept coming, kept punching, overhand shots, uppercuts, straight hands, body shots, whatever it was. He just kept working. He had Vargas on the ropes, backing him up, and made him pay. Vargas didn't get a chance to catch his breath in that fight. I feel like Liam Smith's conditioning is a strength of his at this stage in his career, and it needs to be high with the constant pressure that he is putting forth as well, too. I was very impressed with his work rate and consistency. A lot of boxers start with that pressure, but they can't keep it for 12 rounds. Liam Smith can. Against Hassan Mekwanio, now that was a strange finish, right? While Mekwanio does pack a punch, I don't think he would have been able to withstand the pressure of Liam Smith for 12 rounds. Now, he did get the TKO in that fight, but it was just a strange, weird thing that happened in that fight nonetheless, right? So who wins? I could see two things happening in the same fight. Chris Eubank wins the early rounds, right? Uses his speed, his quickness, and his counterpunching ability, and he'll find Liam Smith's timing and use his aggression to his advantage and focus more on defense and counterpunching in the beginning. Then, if Liam Smith is still around, which I think he will be, he starts to creep back into the second half of the fight, and it comes down to the championship rounds to decide it. Liam Smith, man, he's going to be patient. He's going to bide his time. He's going to stalk you. He's going to walk you down one step at a time, one jab at a time. He's not afraid to be patient, but he's going to keep coming, and he's going to keep coming consistently in a consistent outburst the longer that he's in his fight. He's not the most athletic guy, not the most skilled guy that we've seen, but he's a very consistent guy, and he knows his strengths. He's going to work his strengths in the areas that he knows is going to get him the victory, and that's that mid-range, inside the pocket type of fight. Eubank is the more athletic boxer, right? More dynamic, in my opinion. But will that be enough? Can he withstand the pressure of Liam Smith for 12 rounds? I think so. I think Chris Eubanks wins this one by decision. I think he's going to slip inside the pocket, use his footwork to move around the ring, and use that athletic ability to help him in this fight. I feel like Eubanks' hand speed and footwork is going to give Beefy some challenges and put him in a tough spot in this fight. I don't think Eubank has the power that Canelo has to necessarily KO Liam Smith. Not saying a stoppage couldn't happen, but I'm not sure I could see it happening in this fight personally. But if Eubanks targets the body early and really breaks that midsection body down, maybe he can set that up to get a stoppage against Liam Smith going into the later rounds. But it's a fight. Anything can happen, and we'll definitely see how it unfolds. But I got Chris Eubank Jr. winning this one by decision. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to support the channel, there's a couple ways that you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel, and it will be greatly appreciated. We are now over 2,000 subscribers on the channel, and I just want to say thank you to each and every single person for taking the time to tune in, to watch the videos, to like the videos, to share your thoughts, whether you agree or you disagree. It's all good with me. Much love to everyone that has been supporting the channel. I see all the comments. I really appreciate your support. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video, this one, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.